Shalom and greetings. Hello, everyone, and good evening. Thank you. Yes, shalom. You know, the prophet Isaiah entreats the Jewish people to be a light unto the nations. By that, I think he means we are supposed to bring light to darkness. We must keep the flame alive. Each one of us fulfilling our potential to shine our own unique light. Hanukkah, in many ways, is about the mitzvah of our actions to beat back darkness, the darkness of hate, the darkness of racism and bigotry. On this 8-day holiday, we light one more candle. Am I right? One every night, until we end in a blaze of light. As the great Dr. Martin Luther King said, darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. My name is Moshe Kruger. I'm the executive director of the Jewish Federation in town. And it's my great honor just to thank Jody Fried. Jody illuminates our community with her bright light and her civic leadership. Jody, I have to tell you, our community is richer and more inclusive as a result of your initiating this community lighting event 5 years ago. Yes, let's put our hands together and show our appreciation for Jody Fried. But you know what? Speaking of kudos, let me give a big shout out in gratitude to our partners who made this community celebration possible. We are very grateful to the City of South Bend and the Office of Mayor James Mueller. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Downtown South Bend Parks and Venues, and of course our Jewish community leaders from Chabad of South Bend, Liberal Jewish Fellowship, Midwest Torah Center, Sinai Synagogue, Temple Beth-El, and Temple B'nai Shalom. Soon we'll be lighting our first candle. And in doing so, we stand together to rededicate ourselves to the hope and promise of new possibilities. South Bend, let me be clear on this. We can fulfill our potential, the promise to let shine bright as our community. Let us be hopeful of what is possible. Let us banish darkness with light. And with that, let me bring up my friend Ruth Kremer, President of Temple B'nai Shalom, to the podium to say a few words.
A few words is right. Moshe said all the good stuff. And the stuff about Hanukkah, the rabbis are going to do better than I could do. So I'm just going to say thank you to South Bend and all the forum people who've come out tonight to celebrate with us. I'm the president of Temple B'nai Shalom in Benton Harbor, Michigan, and we just love what you do down here.
Thank you for the opportunity. My name is Rabbi Ginsparg. I represent the Midwest Torah Center. Whenever you have a chance, come stop by. We'd love to speak with you. We'd love to engage with you. I just wanted to quote King Solomon today. He says in Proverbs 20:27, the soul of man is the candle of God. Maybe this is another illusion, the Hanukkah menorah, the light of the menorah, driving out the darkness. It's certainly there. But King Solomon saw in the light an element of godliness as it's represented by the soul of man. The soul of man is what God put into all human beings, regardless of who they are. If they're human, they carry that light. Darkness is where we dehumanize, when we look at somebody as less than human. But when we see that menorah, and we see that light, and we recognize the incredible greatness of man, man being the pinnacle of God's creation, and we see the divinity, that divine spark in each person as it's represented by the menorah, that will drive out the darkness. The darkness is when we don't see God's presence and we don't see each human, each life for its value. But when we see the soul in a person, we see that light, we see that divine spark, then we will begin and we will continue to carry the message of the Chanukah menorah and treat everyone as a representation of the divine, that divine spirit in man. Have a happy Chanukah.
Good evening, South Bend. Oh, it's pathetic. You can do better than that. Good evening, South Bend. Hagulim Sameach. Happy Hanukkah. Who is happy to be here this Hanukkah? Yeah, about 5 of you. Very good. My name is Rabbi Companez. I have to look at my notes to get that right. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm the rabbi of Temple Beth-El, a Reform congregation. I want to thank Dan Ravitch of the Jewish Federation of St. Joseph Valley for organizing this event once again this year so that we can all participate safely and be together in whichever way we choose. And whoever had the idea to bring fire, that was really clever and good. And the people who are closest are the most intelligent people here tonight. And thank you and happy 5th time doing this, Jody Fried, who initiated this community celebration back in 2018, as Moshe has already said. So everybody, I want you to hold up 5 fingers to show your appreciation to Jody. They're all showing you 5, Jody. High fives for Jody. On Hanukkah, we're supposed to publicize the miracle of the small amount of oil found after the destruction of the temple that was expected to last for only 1 night, but which lasted instead for 8 nights. And we do this by lighting our Hanukkah menorot, our Chanukiot, and putting them in our windows so that those passing by can see them. And it's not by chance that Hanukkah occurs at the darkest time of the year. Well, anyway, in the northern hemisphere, in any case, my South African friend was just commenting that he would normally be in a bikini on a surfboard celebrating Hanukkah, but I won't disclose his identity. The lights that we kindle come to dispel the darkness, both physical and metaphorical. And this Hanukkah, we're still experiencing various forms of figurative darkness. I invite you to bring to mind whatever you consider a darkness. It could be something personal, something to do with your family or your community, something national or something global. Sadly, there are so many different darknesses to choose from. But hopefully things will begin to brighten before too long. And although, as they say, the darkest part of the night is just before dawn or something like that anyway. I did have a poem that I was going to read you, but it's so cold that I'm not going to. And I'm going to stop right here, and I'm not even going to say the last bit that I was going to say, and I'm going to pass it over to Rabbi Friedland.
Okay, I'm Rabbi Friedland, and I'm cold. Another reason to light the Hanukkah light. We're all, and again, thank you to Jody and to the Federation and to the mayor and his offices for allowing us to be here. We're all familiar with the Hanukkah story of how we celebrate for 8 days because of the miracle of the candle that lasted for 8 days, the cruse of oil. However, in the second book of Maccabees, which was written by a Greek-speaking Jew in Egypt about 150 BCE, we're told that the reason the Jews celebrate Hanukkah for 8 days is because they missed Sukkot that year. They were fighting and they couldn't celebrate Sukkot. And so they came once they were able to rededicate the temple, they went back and they celebrated Sukkot for 8 days. There are other commonalities between Hanukkah and Sukkot. For example, we're both connected to the temple. Sukkot is a pilgrimage festival, and Hanukkah celebrates the rededication of the temple. King Solomon dedicated the first temple during Sukkot in 8 days. And even the scholar Shammai His version of lighting the candles was you light 8 on the first night and 1 less each day, because that's the way they did it on Sukkot. They sacrificed 13 bulls and 1 less each day. So that was his version. Of course, we follow Beit Hillel, in which we light 1 more candle each day to increase the holiness. However, Rabbi Rini Dickman of Chicago points out there's a very important difference between Sukkot and Hanukkah. The holiday of Sukkot falls in the middle of the Hebrew month when the moon is out and the light is the brightest. The moon wanes, though, during Hanukkah. It keeps getting smaller and smaller until finally the last 2 nights it begins to return with a sliver. On Sukkot, the light comes from the moon, God's way of lighting our paths. But on Hanukkah, the light must come from us. Hanukkah reminds us that it often seems that the world is dark, and we wonder, where will our salvation come from? We know today we're so very, very sad. Anti-Semitism is growing in the country. Authoritarianism is on the march, even in our own country. We've exploited God's gift of the earth. Callousness reigns, as the Talmudic saying goes, Zuza le'alala lo shchichacha, zuza le'tleita shchichacha. Money for sustenance, for food, for good things is very hard to find, but money to cause suffering, that you can always find. Hanukkah reminds us that when it is dark, we have to work harder to bring the light. And it takes all of us in every home to shine the light out to the world. So when the world is dark, don't be dismayed. It is an invitation to each of us to bring the light, 1 household each night. And hopefully that's what you'll be doing, lighting in the house, not outside where it's freezing. And now I want to turn it over to the mayor.
So I'd like to bring up the mayor, a man who's bringing incredible light to our community through his leadership. Mayor, please take it away.
Good evening. Happy Hanukkah. I will be brief because we've had enough speakers already, and I know it's very cold. We were doing very well since the first year with Mayor Pete up in the icy rain going up the ladder. We had some warm years. The year that everyone was staying at home because of COVID was actually balmy. So it makes sense that, of course, this year it would be this cold with all of you here. But it's great to see you all. Thank you for coming out. It is fitting that it's cold, I believe. We're at the darkest time of the year. It's cold and dark, and here we are to celebrate the Festival of Lights and the dedication of the Second Temple and the rise of God's chosen people. And so that's a great metaphor, a great celebration here in South Bend and around the world. And we're just so thrilled to be able to have this here in South Bend. We're so thrilled for everything you do for our community and you helping to rise, make South Bend rise, because we know we rise together, and together South Bend will rise. So thank you. Happy Hanukkah. We're going to go light the menorah, and then we can get warm.
Thank you, Mayor Mueller, for coming out here again. And we're about to make the blessings now for the 5th time in downtown South Bend. Thank you everyone for coming. My name is Rabbi Schneur, Gansburg. I'm from the Chabad of South Bend. So we're going to make the blessings in a second, but I just want to remind everyone that we're bringing the light of Hanukkah to the streets. And in order to bring the light of Hanukkah to the streets, we have to be able to bring to the streets. So it's the light of Hanukkah starts at our homes. I just want to remind everyone, when you go home tonight, not to forget to take out your menorah. And tonight's the first night, so we make the 3 blessings. And light the 3 blessings, light the menorah, and when you light the menorah at home, automatically your warmth and your light will spread and will reach the streets of South Bend, and eventually even further than that. So we'll say the three blessings now. And just one more thing, for those that need a menorah candles, we have menorahs and candles here for anyone that does not have menorah and candles. So we'll do the three blessings now. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik Chanukah, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asa nisim avoseinu v'yomim lahem b'zman hazeh Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'achiyanu v'kiyevanu v'higiyanu lizman hazeh.
Happy Chanukah, everybody. My name is Joshua Rubin. I'm the rabbi of the Liberal Jewish Fellowship, which is South Bend's newest and absolute tiniest congregation. But what we lack in numbers, we certainly make up for in dedication and sincerity. And I've been asked to sing a couple of songs that are traditional to this Hanukkah season, and the first one that we're going to sing is called Maos Tzur. I'm sure many of you know it very well, and it acknowledges God for the ability to resume the service in the temple following the war, and we will sing it in Hebrew and into English. And just as an interesting point of fact, the Hebrew and English have absolutely nothing to do with each other whatsoever, except for the fact that they are both lovely. Maos Tzur. Maos Tzur Yeshuati Lecha Na'el Leshabeach Tikon Tefilati V'sham Toda Nezabeach Le'et Tachimat Beach Mitzahamna Beach Hazegmo Beshir Mizmor Chanukat HaMizbeach Hazegmo Beshir Mizmor Chanukat HaMizbeach Rock of Ages, let our song praise your saving power. You amidst the raging foes were a sheltering tower. Furious they assailed us, but your arm availed us, and your when our own strength failed us, and your word broke their sword, when our own strength failed us. And then the second song is Chanukah, O Chanukah, which is, of course, from a traditional Yiddish song, but as I do not speak Yiddish, I cannot speak to the authenticity of its translation. Chanukah, O Chanukah, come light the menorah. Let's have a party, we'll all dance the hora. Gather round the table, we'll give you a treat. Zvivonim to play with and latkes to eat. And while we are playing, the candles are burning low. One for each night they shed a sweet light to remind us of days long ago. One for each night they shed a sweet light to remind us of days long ago. Happy Hanukkah, and may it be one of light for all of us.